The singing of our preparatory hymn, Love Will Guide Us, number 131 in your hymnal.
So just a quick update. This will be the last bit that I speak about me really during the sermon, but I thought you all might like to know that the girls, my wife and my two daughters, Katie, Cora, and Minnie, are doing very well in Tucson. Cora and Minnie have slept better than they ever have before in our new place down there, so hallelujah for that. That means Mom and I are sleeping better than we have in 2 years. And I am projecting, I've done the math on the way here this morning, I think that 2 months from now will be the first time since the girls were born that I will not be tired. I think that's my projection. And my sadness there, actually, is that I've been tired for the entire time that we've known each other. And it's not your fault. But such is the life of a new parent, as I'm sure many of you are aware. And of course, twins makes that all the merrier, as they say. So I look out this morning, I see a lot of faces that I've grown quite fond of over the past year, some of whom were here when I got here, some of whom have come in the meantime, most of whom I really like. But this is it. This is our last Sunday together. And I'd say it's been a good year. From my perspective, anyway. It's been a good year here at West Valley Unitarian Universalist Church. And but this is not a goodbye sermon, all right? I only know one way to say goodbye and farewell, and that is actually to say goodbye and farewell. And that would make for an awfully short sermon. So I'll do that later. For now, I do have two things to say to you, though. Thank you. And you're up. So first, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for letting me into your minds and your hearts. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your engagement. And thank you for your indulgence and your counsel. Thank you for being you. You are an incredible congregation. The percentage of wisdom and especially of buy-in in this congregation, the percentage of this congregation that is active in church life has got to be among the highest in the UUA. And I would invite and encourage all of you, and especially the new folks, to continue that trend. So thank you for that. Thank you for being such a cool congregation. And you all knew that, right? You guys know that you're an incredible congregation. You guys know that you're a healthy congregation. You are. You absolutely are. And this is the best part. Because now it's time for you to take it deeper. It's time to take the next step. Which brings me to the second thing that I want to say. You're up. So what I mean by that is now that I'm gone, now that no one is stepping in after me, now that West Valley UU will not have a professionally trained fool up here blustering ethereal anecdotes on Sundays, the foolership passes hands. And what I mean by that is now you are ministers. You are the ministers. And this will change things. And I don't mean structurally or procedurally. You are ministers. You are spiritual leaders. And this will and should change things spiritually for each of you personally. Your ministry, it's your ministry now, your ministry will change and challenge and evolve your spirituality. That's what ministry does to the minister. The irony is that you may not know it when it happens. You intend it, and I think that might be enough for now. I hope it is. But then you understand the change after it has happened. And that understanding becomes itself a guide. So now you are ministers. I ordain you. By the way, it took me 4 years, 2 years of poverty, and some money owed to the federal government. So this is a bargain. But as ministers, you must treat each other and the world as if from a perspective of one for whom the spiritual is the guiding orientation. You are now all warrior poets, or rather healer poets. And believe me, this will change how you relate to each other, and it will change how you see the world and how you relate that world to each other. And here is the shocker. I sincerely believe that this is precisely what West Valley Unitarian Universalist Church needs right now. I believe that. This may sound strange coming from the guy who in various meetings and venues have been championing the need for professional ministry here. This is a church that will thrive under wise ministry. It's a church of souls whose souls will thrive under wise ministry. And I have harped on this need for professional ministry. I've gone on about it and harangued those who would listen. And it's true. It remains true. West Valley UU most definitely needs professional ministry. To be what y'all can eventually be, you need a trained, dedicated, full-time, long-term minister. And blah, 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 blah. And blah, 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 because professional ministry is not all that you need. And I don't think it's what you actually need right now. In fact, I think professional ministry might be precisely what you don't need in the coming year. I'm not blowing smoke either. I really believe this. The more I considered it, the more it occurred to me that circumstance, or the cosmic equation, fate or God, has got this right in spite of some of our wishes. You're not going to have professional ministry, and that is as it should and needs to be. This is the time where West Valley is ready to be their own ministers. Not just church leaders, although you have to be that too. Ministers. And not forever, but for a bit. And I believe this will present you with two opportunities. It will allow you, should you, and you must, accept the mission. It will allow you to go deeper into your spiritual development and concerns. And this means that it's no longer about your personal agenda. It's no longer about what you want. It is about the spiritual health of those to whom you minister. So look around you. Also, being ministers will give you a taste of what it is to be a minister. And I believe that this will prepare you for when you are in a position to bring back professional ministry. But that is not now. Now is your time. This coming era will be your chrysalis. You will learn what ministry is because you all will need to minister to each other. Here I'm talking of need a lot, and the last time I preached here, I tried to emphasize that you already have all that you need. And therefore, this church already has all that it needs. And this, of course, points to the first principle of our National Unitarian Universalist Association covenant, that wonderful recognition that each of us possesses inherent worth and dignity. You already have what you need. So there are many ways to arrive at that conclusion, and last week, or last sermon, for me, I came to it through a meditation on water in this season of thirst. And we found that water is a wonderful metaphor, and even more meaningful for us desert dwellers, because it reveals our inherent worth as well as our interconnectivity, which of course is the final principle of the UUA covenant. Promoting and cultivating the inherent worth of individuals, and promoting and cultivating the understanding that we are interconnected. Individual worth, interconnectivity. There's a little bit of a paradox there. But that's church, right there. Interconnected individuals of inherent worth. That is church. It's the structure of church. It's the ideological framing of church. But there is something else going on here at church. There is an intentionality to the way in which we engage that ideological framing. So, we're not the Sierra Club, which is an organization that I imagine could also claim our first and last principle as part of their framing ideology. But our approach to that same framing, which can be shared by any number of organizations, is slightly different. It's unique. Ours is explicitly spiritual. We are a church. So it's well and good to understand the interconnectivity of inherently worthy souls, but that understanding is also only a beginning. For us, it is a particular kind of invitation, an invitation to delve into these ideas, this idea of interconnectivity and inherent worth. Delve into them with our powers of critical thought and poetical thinking. It's an invitation and a challenge to live into those claims. Delve into those claims. Whatever you find there, you've got to bring it out and make it a part of your life. That's what we're about here. That's where the ministry comes in. Which means that's where you come in. And you start today. In fact, you start right now. If you would, please turn to the back of your order of service. There's a poem there. Now, I did not write it, although it looks that way. The reason why it looks that way is because I didn't get the attribution to Anne soon enough, and then there's my picture up there. So it looks like I wrote it. I didn't write it. The poem was given to me by my internship director when I arrived in Ogden, and she didn't write it either. But we both have lived it. I think somebody named Bill McBean wrote it, or something like that. I'll try to find that for you if you're interested. So my internship supervisor and myself have lived this poem, and so will you. So you can read along and listen. A prayer for any who minister. O thou vast life in which our little lives dwell, O thou Spirit who art parent to our spirits, we rejoice in one great truth, that our little lives can be partners in great enterprises, that our little minds can contain great ideas, that our little hearts can engender great hopes, that our little spirits can conjure up great visions, that our greatness is not of size, but of purpose, and that our strength is not of numbers, but of intent, that our importance is not of duration, but of direction.
In the quiet and confidence of our own hearts, we have committed ourselves to holy orders, to seek the holy in a world fragmented, to seek peace in a world discontented, to seek sanity in a world oft demented, to seek help in a world oft tormented.
In our hearts we need great courage, lest it desert us in peril. In our minds are shining visions, let them not be tarnished by the smothering fog of the traffic and the obscuring mists of naysayings, doubts, and fears.
In our souls is the unquenchable impulse toward the holy. Let it ever remind us that the ministry is about wholeness, about healing, about health. steel our wills to venture into dark, dismal, and dreadful places.
We are seekers after the holy, wheresoever it is hidden, to beckon forth that it may shine with inevitable splendor of human possibility and human fulfillment.
Remind us now and then, such revelation is reward enough, satisfaction enough, paradise enough, heaven enough.
Amen.
Amen. So that is your charge, your privilege, your risk, your invitation, your task, your honor, your path. It is your church. Welcome to the ministry. Welcome to your chrysalis. Transform and prepare. You are going to fly. And so must I. And so, goodbye and farewell. Amen. We'll close with hymn number 121. We'll build a land.
Go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all morning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Oh, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where we bring the good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we'll give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land building up ancient cities, raising up devastations from old, restoring ruins of generations. Oh, we'll build a land of people so bold. Oh, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. Come, build a land where the mantles of praises resound from spirits once faint and once meek, where like oaks of righteousness stand her people. Oh, come, build a land, my people we seek. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
join me in extinguishing the chalice? This is the mission statement of your church. And I need the words. This church provides a safe
place to celebrate diversity, draw inspiration for our lives, foster social and environmental justice, and compassionately support each other in our spiritual searches.
I don't have any last words for you all. I don't. You are the ministers of West Valley UU Church. I hope you take that to heart. You could use that poem to guide you and to meditate on and encourage you in meetings and in your attitude toward this church, toward the members of this church, the visitors of this church, and the people you encounter every moment of your lives. From time to time, ask yourself if you are providing them ministry. Are you bringing ministry to this place? I have great confidence that you will. And again, I thank you.
Easily, Ron. Now it's time to say goodbye from all this company. Pastor Ron, Cora and Minnie, and Katie. On a more serious note, Coriel has her presentation this morning. Think of me fondly when we've said goodbye. Remember me once in a while, please promise me you'll try. When you find that once again you long to take your heart back and be free, if you ever find a moment, spare a thought for me. We never said our love was evergreen or as unchanging as the sea. But if you can still remember, stop and think of me. Think of all the things we've shared and seen. Don't think about the things which might have been. Think of me waking silent and resigned. Imagine me trying too hard to put you from my mind. Flowers fade, the fruits of summer fade. They have their seasons, so do we. So please promise me that sometimes you will think. We knew last summer when we gathered to sign our covenant with you that this day was inevitable. You knew it too, of course, but that didn't deter you from giving us all the energy you had to reinvigorate a sense of community. You have inspired us with a new prism through which to view ourselves, those around us, the world outside and its condition, and how we can be a force for change. Since you took on the West Valley Project, we have seen our RE program revitalized, an expanded membership that includes energetic, forward-thinking new people who in turn have re-inspired the existing membership. There is a new perception of Unitarian Universalism as we rediscover our history in new to UU classes and as we prepare for adult RE programs in the fall. And for the first time that I can recall, we have a complete 6-member board of trustees. The reorganization of committees that will be taking place in time for in-gathering will streamline our means to accomplish our goals, and for pointing us in these directions, we thank you. We like to think that we have been a positive force for your growth as you have been for ours. Oh, we have a gift or two. This one in particular, we hope will convey our confidence in your future.
Oh, I forgot it. No, I didn't. Does anybody have a camera? It's all right. Yes, it will.
Yes. Thank you all.
And now Barbara has a little something.
That feels good.
Well, John, this represents the church as well as the store. We've all chipped in, and we wanted to present you with a card that really tells you a little bit of how we feel about you. And inside the card, besides a verse that wasn't written by me, this is ever so much better, there's a gift card and a little bit of cash, because the gift card was bought before the cash came. Because the cash came today, all the way from Wisconsin. Anyway, it's a gift card. Shall I tell you the amount so you all know what you did? $250 from Target for the whole thing. Yes, sure.
I guess I have to read the card first. All right. So the card reads, "You are really a special." Yeah, happy birthday. Get well soon. You're really a special person. Your love of life and of people shines through in so many inspiring ways. And if anyone ever deserved the best in life, it would be you. Thanks for everything. And then a lot of signatures. And I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Now in those famous words from Lion King, chow down.